All right, well, welcome there, Pine Belt. Things looking pretty nice out there today. As far as things go, you can see that the weather is rather clear out there. You see the backdrop here always kind of gives away the forecast. That's what we saw going on this morning and what we're seeing right now as we take a look at all of our sky cams. It's looking rather clear out there right now. Beautiful shot of West Hattiesburg there from Petro Nissan. You can see a few clouds working their way in there from, I started the wrong show here. Give me a second. Get my Facebook Live one that I've been working on for the last several minutes up there. So there we go. Okay, now we're looking good because it's as soon as it wasn't the first slide wasn't the headlines, I knew I was in the wrong one there. So a nice day today, a cooler start out there, which had us down as low as 73 in Hattiesburg. The coolest areas we saw were right around 69 degrees, I believe, up near Taylorsville and Prentice. Those were the envy of the Pine Belt this morning, dropping down into the 60s thanks to drier air, which trailed in behind what was left of Beryl and that moisture. But that's the bad news is it starts warming from here. Our mornings have gotten progressively cooler since yesterday, not by much, just barely. And now from here we will start going the other direction pretty nicely, I would say. So it gets hotter and hotter and more humid for the rest of the week and over the weekend, and that's what brings us back to dangerous heat as we head into next week with that tropical level moisture returning and our air temperature dropping slightly from where it will be over the weekend. But even then, it's still a few degrees above our normal of about 92 degrees for this time of year. Looking outside right now, it's nothing but blue sky and sunshine. 85 feels like 93 though, thanks to that humidity, which again is slowly inching its way up there. Central Regional Medical Center, you can see some wispy clouds off in the distance. Otherwise, no major issues weather-wise there. 83 feels like 91, so that's still pretty good, I would say. And traffic seems to be flowing smoothly there, which is nice. And over here in Columbia, which was one of our cooler areas, getting down to about 70 degrees at its absolute coolest there. 84 right now feels like 94. It tends to be a little bit more humid than the areas around it over there in Columbia, very likely because it's a little bit of a valley and the river is there, Pearl River. So yesterday's almanac here expected to get up to about 94. We ended up at 93, which we hit at 5 o'clock. No showers popping up in the area, just like yesterday though. There's essentially like a single-digit % chance that we could see one trying to get going, all heating based and nothing you can really hang your hat on or say where it's going to happen at any given time. It does look like we have some more consistent potential activity down near the coastline as there's a stationary boundary just kind of stuck there, and in the heat of the day it could fire off some more thick clouds and eventually leading to some showers as well. And it's just technically not impossible that one drifts our direction, but again, I wouldn't plan your day around it. Today's high should get up to about 95, I believe, as we start seeing more cloud cover arriving through the afternoon. Thankfully, nowhere near the record there at 105, set in 1930, a nice hot one there. As far as our low goes, we did get down to 73, as we said today, which is right above the average there. So pretty close to where we should be for this time of year heat-wise. But we're going to start going up. Expect a lot of sunshine, and that will allow for some nice heating from the rays of the sun, of course, all the way up into the mid-90s. I expect about 95 by 4 o'clock, and then starting to trend down. Expecting about a 50-50 mix, clouds to clear sky. As we head through that time period, could bump up just like yesterday to about 60-40, even 75-25 around that time, but it will depend on just how much moisture it's able to grab onto from heating, which convective heating just kind of raises air that's been warmed by the surface, and then that eventually cools and condenses into those puffy cumulus clouds, and if it can grab just enough moisture to work with, a stray shower. And that's what you're seeing here the next 24 hours, giving us just a couple of little blocks there of about a 20% chance. And in computer model terms, 20% is essentially nothing down here. As we can see that at any given time through the heat of the summer with that humidity, which was started the week off at around the insane miserable levels, did fall a bit. It was as low as about 72, 73 this morning. now starting to work its way up, and that's something we'll see a trend that'll start now, slowly inching its way, with the exception here of Sunday for whatever reason. I can't really spot a reason for that drop there. But we'll start inching our way up all the way back into those average miserable levels. So this kind of takes where the humidity is all day long. The last one I showed is where it is at that moment. And it does have a little bit of an oscillation effect. The humidity going up a little bit overnight and then falling a bit. But it all depends on that wind direction, which is largely still northerly right now, but will become southerly in the days ahead. And that's why we'll start seeing that increase, getting us back to those dangerous heat levels thanks to that rising humidity. Even though the air temperature will only go up 2, 3, 4 more degrees than it is right now, you see our heat index really rising thanks to that humidity moving in. So today we'll get right up against 100. Looks like we'll be there tomorrow as well, and then really starting to go up back into that range where we kind of started off the week, where a heat index is certainly possible at any given time out there. So as we look at your weekend forecast, again, temperatures are climbing up there. Through the mid-90s and up to about 97 as we head through the weekend. Eventually showers starting to pop up, possibly there. By Sunday, I gave it a 20% chance for the entire day. That's not even quite more consistent showers or anything like that there, but certainly possible we could see more around that time, even though they'll still be rather scattered about, few and far between. So we're currently at about 85 degrees, and you can see those clouds there. Not really much of an issue, though we do have some brewing down there on the coastline where that weak boundary is. That's getting a few showers. They even had some very impressive water spouts on Lake Pontchartrain earlier today. You can just barely see the clouds kind of drifting over there. It really doesn't take much to get a water spout going out over the water as we see some conditions with rapid warming and things like that. It does not take much to get one going out there. You can even see them on rather fair weather days. It just takes a little bit of heating and just the tiniest little bit of rotation in those upper levels. So for today, as we head into the afternoon, get up into about the mid to low 90s, depending on your location, with that heating-based cloud cover popping up there. Then as we head through the night, we'll see those showers that'll largely be more towards the coast dissipate. They could again make it into our area. Tomorrow it's even developing a few as we climb back into the mid-90s again. But I gave it about a 10% chance for the whole day. Once again, just technically possible for a couple of hours there in the afternoon. Right now, though, you don't see any moisture in the area except for over by Lake Pontchartrain. You can just barely kind of see some moving into the southern end there, and that's just what we're talking about. We could see something develop, and if it holds together just long enough, it could make it into our area, as you're seeing some showers developing and pushing northward through New Orleans right now. And if that stays on its track, we'll see that cloud cover drifting across our area here in a few hours. So as we take a look at this is really picking up on the infrared satellite there, watching the tropics. We're backing up a bit. There hasn't been any real expectations of development out there. I even had yesterday the slide where it says no development expected within 5 days. Then they added this one yesterday. It just has a 10% chance here within the next couple of days of development, and that's because if it doesn't happen basically by tomorrow or early Saturday, it's not going to happen, period. So I kind of don't even know why it was added there. There is a chance, but there's also that front bumped right up against it, and that would absolutely wreck anything that tried to develop there. Because tropical systems really require a lot of organization to become a tropical system. So it's not going to be able to get that, but you can see that little telltale swirl there as it's trying to gather some moisture, and will be again drifting towards the east coast. But my bet is that it runs out of real estate and time before it impacts the coastline there and doesn't have a chance to organize. So I doubt that it will become our fourth named storm of the 2024 season, Debbie. We've already got Alberto Beryl, which again, a historic Category 5 there pretty early on in the season. And Chris, you blink and you miss that one. I actually did not even look at that one once on radar, because that was when I was out of town for a weekend and came back and it was already gone. So I wouldn't expect to see Debbie out of that, but it's possible, you know. You get some warmth and some moisture out in the Atlantic, and you can get something going. But for at least the next 10 days, I would say we'll see rather subdued activity out there, because you can see this big plume of brown and khaki color, that's dust coming off the Saharan desert, the west coast of Africa, known as the Saharan air layer. It's in about the mid-levels. So when something's trying to grow out there, it can interact with this very dry, dusty air that's getting circulated from the Bermuda High across the area. So there are little pockets where it's not going to be all that dry and dusty. But as we said, tropical systems do require a lot of organization, and if anything tries to grow too high this time period, it's very likely going to pull some of that into it, and it's just kryptonite to these tropical systems. So I don't expect we'll see much. You still see that pretty good plume out there all the way into the 19th, so for at least the next week or so, and even beyond that, I would say, before we really start seeing this thinning out and allowing for more development out there. The dry, dusty air and the dust itself kind of blocking the sun, keeping things from getting warm enough out there. So that's good news for us, but still expecting it to be an above average by a considerable amount season, so we're not done by any stretch of the imagination. But looking at the 10-day forecast here, you can see that slow warm-up back into the upper 90s there. That's right when we start seeing more consistent cloud cover and higher rain chances, getting above 20% for your entire day, raining about a fifth of the day there, possible. Then as we head into next week, we kind of get in that 30-40% mix where it's essentially just a typical summer day where we're going to see some heating-based showers and thunderstorms popping up in the heat of the afternoon, but they aren't very consistent, and the aggregate that kind of shows us where rainfall is expected has been putting it all over the place. So just kind of those random storms popping up there. Even that won't be very consistent, but it'll be enough to cool us down out of the upper 90s back towards the mid 90s, which will be quite nice. So not a big change, but overall a pretty nice end to the week and weekend. We're just starting to get back to that dangerous heat and humidity. So that's all I've got for you today. I'll go ahead and let you go. Again, kind of a boring Thursday weather-wise out there, but if you do have any questions about anything discussed or have want your own kind of little forecast for some events you've got going on, Ryan Mahan, WDAM is my Facebook, and my Twitter, because I've refused to call it X, is at Ryan Mahan WX. So reach out if you'd like. Otherwise, I'll let you release you to go enjoy your day. Have a good one.